Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. Oh yeah. Fish, you're feeling great today, buddy, aren't you?
Yeah, it's a good Tuesday. We got Champions League today. So many great games today. I'm just excited, living life.
Cup is November?
What about November?
The World Cup, is that in November?
Yeah.
So then they just stop playing.
Yeah, they stop
and then they
playing.
go back and finish at the same time next year?
It's like a week or two off.
That's not bad.
But yeah, they
That's
gotta
good.
cram these games in. Very excited.
Awesome.
Hoping USA is gonna have a good run this year.
I hope so too. I think everybody's rooting for them hard. Jeff, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing good. Watched some Monday Night Football yesterday.
Yep.
Checked out some of the Dan Campbell pressers, and I feel it's a lot better reacting to a game 2 days after than the day after, because I sat down and rewatched the game yesterday, and it gets me more excited against the Commanders.
Yeah, look,
I saw a lot more.
Did you just say you rewatched the game? Are you Maz?
Yeah, I like to rewatch things just to double down on them. Like if I have an opinion on something, you rewatch it, and then you confirm your opinion.
Good job, Jeff. Way to do your homework. Don't listen to Fish.
Fish.
I just find it funny.
I wasn't watching rugby,
Shut
Fish.
the hell up,
I was
Fish.
not watching rugby.
Are you also going to rewatch the top game on Wednesday, too, on NFL Network that Maz always loves?
Maz is a different breed, all right? Listen, I love Maz, but he's...
Eats, sleeps, and breathes football.
Yes, and everything. Baseball.
He just eats and sleeps. God bless
Sports.
you, Fish. No. Anyways, we're going to move on.
Do you watch the top game?
I'm just... Look, I do want to start with this.
Oh, gosh.
Mondays are probably the most difficult shows, just in general. I think not only for fans, but for people in the media. Not because there's not an abundance of things to talk about, but because what you're taking away. And we had quite the conversation yesterday, Jeff, you and me.
Right.
Well, what do we make of decision making? And I know you wanted to bring it up again, but I do want to clarify two things. The timeout before the half.
Mm-hmm.
Dan Campbell went on 97.1 this morning, Stoney and Jansen, and said that he felt, I love the word feeling with this coach. He felt that they were going to get the ball back, and his mindset was they were going to get 2 scores. Okay. Makes sense why you did it on 2nd and 14. Not really too pissed about it. Granted, the Eagles looked like they just wanted to get off the field, but whatever.
Yeah, they were content with...
I'm going to leave it. Brandon Staley made
half.
that same mistake against the Raiders last year, but, whatever. What I want to know from you is how am I supposed to sit up here, now Tuesday after the fact, and have a conversation about his decisions? And, again, Washington is this week. They're 2.5-point favorites. This is a game they should win. They play Minnesota after. Seattle, we've gone through the schedule. Then you have New England.
Yep.
Dallas without Dak Prescott. The games are going to be there this year. But my issue isn't just with the decisions. It's not even the timing. Chicago, Seattle, the Giants, the Steelers, they all were the lesser talented team on Sunday and Monday last night for Seattle. And they found a way to win. And there were no excuses. And there were no questionable decision making. Pete Carroll didn't pin the Seattle Seahawks in a bad spot, and their defense held, I believe, on 2 goal line stands against the Broncos. Gordon fumbled and Javonte Williams. So my question is, Washington up this week, but when are we going to start having a conversation about winning games, quote, you shouldn't win? Because to come in on a fucking Monday, and excuse my language, and everybody, oh, well, I didn't expect to beat the Eagles. Oh, we never expected to beat the Eagles. I'm really trying to be patient. I swear to God I am. And it's not the fact that nobody in the room doesn't think that the Eagles aren't better than the Lions. I think that is general consensus. Up 7-0, a turnover on downs. a playoff atmosphere, and you follow it up with 3 3-and-outs. And on top of it, the timeout going into half. 3rd and 1 from the 2 before the 2-minute warning, which I really honestly I didn't even have an issue with that. Granted, it's general clock management 101, but it doesn't add up for me. And even when he explains, I wanted to get the ball back again, dude. What football game were you watching? Your defense needed to get into the tunnel as soon as possible so you can make halftime adjustments. And you know what happened? Not only did you give them the ball and encourage them, by the way, on that 2nd and 14 to take a chance downfield, which they did, and they ended up scoring, you not only increased your deficit, but you went into the half now down more than you were supposed to be. You come out of the half and halftime adjustments, 14 points for the Eagles in the 3rd quarter. I can't. On top of it, an onside kick where he goes on a 30, 40, 50-second rant yesterday in his presser saying, we don't want to kick it off. It's easy to say just kick it off, but we didn't want to kick it off because, if they put a drive together, they would have taken off 6, 7, 8, 10 minutes. So. But you have faith in the defense, but then you don't. Jeff, good morning.
No, and I get what you're saying. That's the argument I made yesterday was if you have faith in your defense, why go for the onside? But the more I thought about it, I rewatched the game. The thing that I was able to take away rewatching it was that offense. And honestly, they put up the 3rd most points in week 1, and the Lions did against a very good Philadelphia Eagles team. So that's what I was able to take away from it. And on top of that, one thing Dan said that I also thought more and more about, and I agree with him, is this team is way better than they are last year. I mean, I get it. They both lost week 1. Last year, you lose week 1 against the San Francisco 49ers. That was way more uglier. I mean, yeah, you made the 4th quarter comeback. You had an onside kick recovery. But this game against the Eagles, they showed a lot of good things. I know defensively they gave up 38, but, minus the pick 6, they really gave up 31. But that's what honestly, we didn't have much to expect from this defense. We knew they were young. We knew they were inexperienced. They're lacking star power. You knew they were going to struggle, that defensive line against that offensive line. So I'm not going to sit here and overreact to week 1, but I do get why you're frustrated because of Dan Campbell and what he's saying. Although I get it, that's how he feels. And listen, it's his ship. He can drive it however he wants. You have to check in on this week 7, week 8, and see if these decisions are adding up.
And I do agree with most of what you're saying. Right. I really do. And I'm not sitting here on a Tuesday, let alone yesterday, telling you that the season is over or that it's doom and gloom and the project's not going to work. No, we're not doing that.
Right.
But hey, can I just ask all of you a question and you give me an answer outside of, it was the Eagles. We weren't supposed to win that game because the Giants weren't supposed to go on the road and beat the Titans. The Seattle Seahawks weren't supposed to beat the Denver Broncos, who many have contending in the AFC.
But those defenses weren't giving up 38. I'll just tell you that. Because those games, even the Seattle and Denver games, 16-17,
Totally fair. And the Lions didn't win the turnover battle.
No.
They didn't win time of possessions, 2 things that are going to be very important for them this year. I'm not saying they did themselves any favors, but Pittsburgh, are they more talented than Cincinnati?
No, but defensively they forced 4 turnovers.
Talented, but offensively it's a joke.
No, they struggled. And
Seattle is not more talented than Denver. The Giants aren't more talented than Tennessee. I just, again, looking back at week 1, there were teams that figured it out. Cleveland on the road without a quarterback figured it out. And we're sitting here giving, it's okay, Dan, because you were supposed to lose that game. When you had a playoff atmosphere, the fans were absolutely phenomenal. You were up 7-0, you forced a turnover on downs, and you went cold. And on top of it, when you finally brought the game within reach, you made a few decisions that only extended it. Your decisions took it from a 10-point lead to a 7-point lead on 2 occasions. It's not that the onside kick cost them the game. No. There are many factors.
Right.
But boy, talk about a decision. I'd rather do it. This is my favorite line. I'd rather do it when they weren't expecting it. Dude, the book on you is that you pull out these tricks.
Yeah.
They were totally expecting it. Again, one decision did not cost them the game on Sunday.
No.
The defense played poorly. Jared Goff struggled big time in the first half for the first really 20 minutes of the game.
Right. That pick six.
The pick six, again, miscommunication between the quarterback and Hockenson.
But still 7.
Still, I agree.
Yeah.
A lot of issues there. Lots of things to, quote, clean up. But when are you just going to figure it out? I'm going to ask. Because the next team you play that's any good is Minnesota. Washington, I'm not sure how I feel about Washington. They played a good game against Jacksonville. They did win that game.
I'm curious to see.
They
Washington
are 2.5-point dogs. So, that'll be an interesting game on Sunday. But again, all I'm asking is put your team in the best position to win. Sometimes the best thing for your football team, Jeff, is just to get to the tunnel. That wasn't the case with the Lions on Sunday.
No, no, and I get what you're saying. For me, though, my perspective on this is if these decisions are costing them games, and we're facing Miami, and we're deep in the season, and you're 2-5, whatever it is, and you see the decisions costing you football games, then yes, I'm going to sit here and we're going to discuss it. But right now, I just think against the Eagles, they played as well as to lose by 3, and I get that's an excuse, but for how bad they really did play defensively, Jared Goff throwing the pick, he played better in the second half. The run game looked really good. There was a lot of positive things you could take away, but to your point, that's the really thing I sit here and I still question.
Can I ask you something?
What's up?
And I really need an answer here.
Okay.
You're down 7. Before we even get to the end of the half.
All right.
How do you think the Lions played overall in the first half?
Well, that second quarter was,
I would say below average.
Well, yeah, it was rough. 24 in a second. Yeah, not too good.
Before the Eagles got the ball at the end of the half, I think we both agree below average with a few moments.
Yeah.
Because they
especially that first drive.
Because they did put 2 touchdowns together, right? So offensively, it was good to start. It really died off for 10, 15, 20 minutes, and then you got back into getting hot. You're only down 7, Jeff. Would you rather go down 7 or 2 possessions into halftime?
You know the answer.
And again, I wanted to get the ball back. You don't win the game in the second quarter, Dan. But you can very well lose it. And you lost it in the second quarter. 24-7, you lost the quarter. And what happens? You weren't even getting the ball coming out of halftime. So not only does your defense end the half giving up 3, they come out and give up 7. So you actually swung the game by a total of 10 points, bringing you down 17. So when I ask you, what'd you make of their first half performance? You would agree with me below average?
Yeah.
So close
That's
to average,
fair.
but slightly below average. Fair?
That's fair, yeah.
Why aren't you running to the tunnel smirking that you're only down 7? That's what confuses me, Jeff.
And
this aggressiveness thing, it's all great and all, but you got to...
And that was the thing we talked about, too, for months, is what Dan Campbell are we going to see this year with expectations? And it's clear you're still getting the aggressive mindset, Dan Campbell, from last year. I don't know if it'll be as bad as last year, but I'm just curious to see. That's all. I'm not criticizing them. You're 0-1, but it's a game I did expect them to lose. But to your point, I'm going to watch them. I want to see how Dan is against, especially in big games when you're facing Green Bay, Minnesota, divisional opponents. Like if these decisions are made and if it costs them. Because right now we can look back 6-7 games in the season and we may not even think about this game because of how well they're doing. But until then, you have to be skeptical, and rightfully so.
Sometimes in life, you are literally handed rotten apples and fresh oranges. But you can't tell that on the inside, the apple's rotten.
Very deceiving.
And sometimes it's very nice in your head that, hey, if we make a stop, this if game, if we make a stop here, which is true, it's technically true. If you make a stop here, you get the ball back, you can attempt to go down and score. But not only when are you outweighing the risk and reward? Because all the time it seems high risk for median reward, given just how much of a risk it is. I can't. I want to continue the conversation. I really
Let's do it.
Because now there are a lot of comments not only on the network, across media, that we'll get to in the second part of the segment. So let's take a quick pause. It's 8:15. When we get back, there's a lot more to discuss. But I got to tell you that we're giving away front row tickets to the Detroit-Washington football game. If you have outkicked your coverage and you, my friend, are dating, married, engaged, whatever it may be, to someone who is much, much better looking than you, well, my friend, we're going to reward you with front row tickets to the Detroit versus Washington football game. Excuse me. So, to enter, make sure you tag you and your significant other, whether it's girlfriend, fiance, whether you're gay, I don't care. And just make sure you tag Woodward Sports, you follow Woodward Sports, and you use hashtag Woodward Front Row. We'll see you guys in just a sec.
It took exploring 50 different formulas and hosting countless taste tests, but we believe Gypsy Vodka is the smoothest vodka on the market. Don't believe us? Ask the owners.
We're Mike and Adam Kazanowski with High Five Spirits Distillery. We're in close to about 1,200 locations throughout Michigan. We wanted to create a brand that was geared more towards freedom, love, adventure, and at the end of the day, we really wanted to tell a story that inspired other people to take risks, follow their dreams, whatever that might be.
New to the game or a season better? OddsTrader.com has everything you need to make the right bet ahead of kickoff. Begin your handicapping journey with OddsTrader. Improve your edge by finding the best price on every game from sportsbooks in your backyard. Take advantage of the numerous sign-up bonus offers to pad your bankroll. Dive into key game statistics, player performance, and even account for the projected game day weather. Best of all, you can use the OddsTrader bet tracker to keep a log of your action. Welcome to OddsTrader, and best of luck.
Fellas, let's be honest. We like things to be easy. We like simple stuff, like sports 7 days a week. We like things uncomplicated, like Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Sign in, sit down, watch your favorite team play. And before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
3 NBA championships. Detroit fans were there. 11 Stanley Cups. Detroit fans were there. 4 World Series wins. Detroit fans were there. And that one Lions playoff win in 1991? Yeah, Detroit fans were there. Woodward Sports, where the fans are.
Let me tell you about our friends at the Academy of Warren, because guys, are you interested in expanding your career and making a difference in your community? The Academy of Warren for professionals that have a passion for working with students in the K-8 department and more. For more information on how to apply, call us at 586-552-8010. We are the Academy of Warren.
All right, we're back here on the Morning Woodward Show. Jeff, good morning, buddy.
Good morning.
All right, you wanted to have this conversation. Do you think we're being too hard on Dan for his decision for the onside kick, the timeouts, the clock management, whatever it may be? He, quote, felt like it was the right time, and he was trying to get one more possession.
Right.
Tuesday morning, it's not a Monday, no overreactions. Are we being too hard on Dan? And I don't want to loop you in with me, because I think you've been fair in your defense. I don't think it's been over the top or too much the other way.
Yeah.
But are we being too hard on Dan Campbell week 1?
I wouldn't say you're being too hard on him. My only thing was I tried to think of it from his perspective. Like, this is a guy we're going to have to trust his decision making at the end of the day, whether you agree with it or not. And he felt like that was the right call. So at the end of the day, he gave them a chance to win against a team that I think will be in the playoffs, could make a deep playoff run, especially in the NFC. So I can't hate that. I can't hate for Dan putting us in a position to beat a team that scored 38 on us, on this defense, including the pick 6. So overall, I did think it was a good game. I mean, listen, you score the first drive of the game, you struggle a little bit, you bounce back. I think Jared had a really good second half. There's a lot of things you could take away that were good. And I think rewatching the game, that's what changed my perspective a little bit, is I think we focus too much on the onside, or we focus too much on his decision before half, forgetting about all the good things we did see out of this football team and how much better they did look from last year. And again, that goes with coaching. Now, you can question defensively, Aaron Glenn, but still, Aaron Glenn has proven to us that he can coach. Like last year, you saw him single-handedly, that defense, keep us in a lot of games. I thought Ben Johnson showed a lot of good things as well. I'm not going to base my judgment on Dan Campbell off one game. I think you have to take a more sample size, a bigger sample size of the season. You have to see, worse decisions than simply going for an onside or, calling that timeout before halftime. So at the end of the day, that's kind of why my perspective changed. I know Adham yesterday, me and him both were questioning, especially the onside kick, just because at the time I'm watching the game. And I could just feel the Lions have a chance. And you kick the onside. I know how bad this defense was struggling. And yes, it was an overreaction. But at the same time, sitting it for a moment, I really do. I want Dan to succeed. There's nothing more. Dan checks all the boxes. He really does. The only thing that he has to do is win football games. And that's why we're so hard on him, because he had a chance to win on Sunday. But at the end of the day, he put them in a position to try and win against a team that I didn't think they would beat. And they lost by 3. I thought they lost by a touchdown, and they scored way more points than I thought initially. So I think there was a lot more things you could take out of it that were positive. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to fault anybody for questioning the decisions Dan Campbell made. I mean, that's our job. And Braylon said it best on the bottom line yesterday, Armani and Edwards. Our job is to ask the tough questions, and us asking why Dan went for those decisions, you can't really be mad at it. But I will say, rewatching the game, there was a lot more things that I felt like should have been at the forefront of this conversation that were positive rather than the decision making of Dan. The only thing you can really or the reason why you can continuously bring up these decisions is if they're costing the Lions games. And let's say you start out 1-5 and you see Dan making these types of decisions, then I think it's rightfully so. But on Sunday, you saw holes in this defense, which we knew were there. You saw the inexperience. Offensively, checked a lot of boxes. I didn't leave that game necessarily with anything new. Like, the offense looked good. We said they looked good with Ben Johnson. Jared Goff struggled, but that's another thing. The defense struggled. We knew they would struggle.
Guys.
That would be the worst part of this team. We called that. So, again, watching the game, Adam, I just thought, yes, it's fair to criticize Dan or at least ask those questions. But I just think looking back and rewatching the game, there was a lot more things that I think were positive out of that football game. And we'll see against the Commanders because they got to follow it up. You got to follow it up. Hopefully they can get a win.
There is a difference between being aggressive, which you saw multiple times, not only in play calling, but on the 4th and 1, DeAndre Swift touchdown. Granted, you're down 2-3 scores. You need it. But the point, nonetheless, there is aggressiveness there, and there's nothing wrong with that. Calling a timeout or kicking an onside kick is not, quote, aggressive. That is not being aggressive. That is taking a very, very, very high chance of failure, throwing it out there, and hoping you hit on one of the few data points that label it as success. And not only that, the Eagles had all offseason to prepare for the Lions. Would you agree the Eagles are a better team than the Lions?
Absolutely.
And wouldn't you think, common sense, that coaches who have really the whole offseason to prepare for the first week of the season, especially the week leading up, would say, well, let's remember what they did against the Rams, and let's remember what they did against teams that were clearly better than them. They pulled out all the bells and whistles. So what would Philly expect if they got up early, which they did in the second quarter? Well, second half. Hey, guys, just FYI, this team they're down 10. We get the ball. If we score, we need to be prepared for anything. That's what any good coaching staff would do. And what happens? The Lions go. They score. It starts to ring. Special teams coach is on alert. He's talking with the head coach. They're on the same page. Special teams is on the same page, and they expected it.
Right.
Oh, well, they didn't expect it, Adam. Would you rather them do it with 50 seconds left and it's obvious they have to kick an onside kick? You're only down 10 with 3.5 minutes left. You were in that game. You had a crowd that was on your side. And all you needed to do was kick that ball off and hope that your second half adjustments would pay dividends on defense. And it didn't. And not only did you didn't give them an opportunity. You gave the Eagles a short field, and the rest is history. So you guys tell me what I'm missing this morning. Because he was aggressive in play calling. I had no issue.
Right.
I thought him and Ben Johnson struggled in the first half, but overall, I would say a decent game.
Yeah.
I wouldn't rave about it. I do love what they did with the run game, but this is a team that's not built to trail. And this is a team that is not built to lose the turnover battle. This is a team that is not built to make poor decisions. What did Seattle do last night? I know their defense kept a ton of points off the board at the goal line. But what did they do? Did they ever pull out the gun out of the shed and shoot themselves in the foot?
No, they didn't turn the ball over.
Did they ever make a decision, a fake punt, an onside kick?
No, they kept
that
it
pinned their defense.
They kept it vanilla. They didn't try nothing fancy.
And all I'm saying is that you had every opportunity to win that game. But because the Eagles, yes, are better than you as a roster, and they were a playoff team last year, because of that, it excuses everything. I'm not on board with that at all. I'm not on board with it at all. So if the Giants were to go for 2 and not convert it, I don't think any Giants fan would come in the next day feeling upset. Why? 2 factors. 1, they made the decision before the drive even started that if they scored, they were going to go for 2. They had the play already called out, and they had already talked with their players and said, hey, guys, just so we're all on the same page is what we're doing. Cool. Everybody was on board. Saquon Barkley, the rest is history. We know what happens. They win the game. It's nice to win football games. It's nice to win football games you didn't expect to win. And again, I didn't call any of you crazy for having optimism about this football team this year. This season's still young. Season's not over. But you got to stop doing this. I'm not saying don't go for it on 4th down. Don't be aggressive in your play calling. But boy, you gave them 10 points. You lost by 3. You gift wrapped 3 points before half. And you gave them another 7 after you scored to make it a 10-point game in the 3rd quarter. You did. Not the fans who were phenomenal at the stadium, not the players. I struggle. I really do. I struggle how it is acceptable. Again, the season's not over.
Right.
He's not a bum. He's not a loser. He shouldn't be out of town. None of that. We're not doing this.
This doesn't change my expectations. And I don't think it does.
God damn it, Jeff. One of these days, you got to win a game
like
right. this.
You're right.
Where you come out of the gate swinging. You force a turnover on downs. You had multiple opportunities to stretch a lead, take the lead. And then you go into halftime down 10 instead of 7. And then down 17 coming out in the 3rd. You bring it back down to 10, and the rest is history.
And the part I agree with you on is you're going to have to win games you're not supposed to win. I get that completely. Like, Dan can't beat the teams he's only supposed to beat and then lose to the teams that he's not favored by. Like, that can't happen, clearly. I just think it's too early to call this team like they're not going to beat somebody they're not supposed to beat. Like, they almost just did beat someone they're not supposed to beat. They just didn't play well offensively. A lot of drops, too, where they have like 7 or 8 drops wide receivers. Again, it's week 1. I'm not trying to blame everything on week 1. You can certainly bring up the decisions he made. But I just think it's too early to say this team, you demand this team beat someone they're not supposed to beat, because you still have Minnesota in 2 weeks. We say that's an automatic loss, but you never know. You have New England, Dallas, Miami, Green Bay. Like, we'll see through that stretch. If you're 0-4 through that stretch, then we have to have a conversation, because you got to beat teams you're not supposed to beat. Look at the Bears, what they did to the 49ers. I get it was against Trey Lance. He didn't play very well. But still, to your point, eventually you're going to have to beat a team that you're not favored against. And we'll see what happens against Commanders, because they are favored. And one of the only games this year they're favored. So I agree with you there. For Dan to take that next step as a head coach, you're going to have to steal some games. But regardless, this team can still get to 7-8 wins. So that's the big picture.
Bear with me for 1 minute, and then we'll take a quick pause. Last year, season opener against the 49ers. How are you guys feeling after week 1? What was the conversation?
Oh, they almost came back. They fought. You know,
You know how many points they gave up in the second quarter against the Eagles?
like 30,
No. 24.
24. Oh, the Eagles. I think you said the 49ers.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Yeah, 24.
How many do you think they gave up against the Niners?
Are you going to say 24?
24.
Okay, well.
How many fourth quarter points did the Lions have against the Niners?
Fourth quarter points?
16.
Okay.
How many against the Eagles?
Don't
14.
say it. Okay, so this is a similar fashion. But they kept it close for
They kept. How?
the 49ers game was
Jeff?
that was a little different.
Optics are very, very similar. Except week 1 against the Niners, this was just a bad football team. They got their ass kicked
right.
and just scored a few.
And Darren, did he throw did he throw a pick six in that game or an interception? Did
No.
he? Off the top of my head,
I don't recall
I don't remember
against the
but
Niners,
I'm
but
just saying context.
Where I'm going at with this is you could have walked into halftime only down 7.
Yeah.
Instead 10. They come out and score after you made halftime adjustments, which nobody talks about, by the way. What are the halftime adjustments? You noticed your team was over-rushing, over-committing, being too aggressive, allowing Jalen Hurts to pick pockets and lanes to run through. You come out, same old, same old. We'll be right back. When we get back, you know what, Jeff? We're going to do power rankings. Monday Night Football last night. End of week 1. Week 2, going into week 2.
How about them Dolphins? I'm telling you.
The top 10 teams in the NFL. We'll get to that in just a moment. But before we do, I got to tell you about where I was this morning. That was at Planet Fitness. Make sure you sign up for Planet Fitness. $0 down, $10 a month. Your fitness is essential. It's very important. Look, when you're like me, just in general, you're an everyday guy, right? You work with people like fish. They annoy the hell out of you. You have some stress at work.
Are you not?
It's good to spend 30, 40 minutes at the gym, and that's exactly what I did this morning. Planet Fitness, the judgment-free zone, is the exact place you want to be working out. So again, visit planetfitness.com, one of their many Metro Detroit locations, and we'll see you soon.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
When you need apparel, there's only one place to go. Big Frog in Novi. With no setup fees, no artwork fees, no minimum, and a 24-hour turnaround, you can have your whole team outfitted in no time. Embroidery, direct-to-garment, vinyl, and screen printing, Big Frog has it all in all the styles you want. So whether it's a sports team, fundraiser, school event, or corporate needs, Big Frog is your one-stop destination. Visit bigfrog.com/Novi or call 844-4-BIG-FROG.
Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper, tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
Jeff Iafrate here. Let me tell you about our friends at Alta. Because, guys, at Alta, uptime matters. Alta Equipment has everything you need to get the job done. You have a big project coming up. Alta Rent has you covered. Call them today, 844-GO-TO-ALTA. That's 844-GO-TO-ALTA today.
What do I need to do to earn your trust back?
Stop messing up your job. We'll start there. We're back here on the Morning Woodward Show.
Okay.
8:34 on a beautiful Tuesday morning. Football is officially back, and with football being back, Jeff, that means we get weekly power rankings coming out every Tuesday.
Gosh.
Last week we had our top 10. I think we were both confident in it. A few teams had to fall out, though. Obviously, like you said, after week one, it's always difficult to do these top 10s because you have to overreact to teams that are 0-1 that you had in the top 5. So let's just start with the list, Jeff. We both agree the Bills at 1.
Yeah,
that's
no
not
question.
changing.
No question.
The Buffalo Bills are absolutely the best team in football. It's not even close. I mean, where do you start? They have a pass rush. They have good secondary play. Dynamic quarterback.
The question is, what don't they have? That's probably the better question.
Devin Singletary looked really good.
They got a good run game. Yeah, it's they're looking scary.
Buffalo, we agree, number 1 on the list.
No
100%?
question. No question.
All right.
Then after that,
This is, I think, where we're probably gonna deviate a little bit.
Definitely. Let's see.
You have. Look, who was your preseason MVP pick, by the way? It was Josh Allen. Okay.
Yep, Josh Allen.
Justin Herbert and the Los Angeles Chargers won a game they probably don't win last year. And they won because of defense. Khalil Mack, 3 sacks,
He's a
etc.,
monster,
etc.
yeah.
We all know the drill. The Chargers come out hot. But I'm not going to agree with you that the Chargers are the second best team in football. For me, the second best team in football is the Minnesota Vikings.
No, here we go.
The Minnesota Vikings, look, I was high on them going into the year. I told you they would win the division. I told you they'd go to the NFC Championship game. And yes, Aaron Rodgers was a bum.
But the Vikings lit up a good secondary, though.
Yeah.
It's a good defense. Let me...
Give me your third team. Give me your third team.
Well,
what, do you got, Tampa Bay?
Do we have the graphic?
Yeah, you have Tampa Bay?
Yes, I do. Can you put up the graphic, Alex? Okay, because I have Tampa Bay at 3. And the reason why I did that, and the reason why I'm swapping the Rams and the Bucks, or move the Rams down a little bit, I get the Bucks beat the Cowboys. They didn't have Dak Prescott. But as a roster, like, you can't deny that the Buccaneers, like, you saw Julio Jones making plays. You see Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. He's going to get better and better and better once he gets back. So I'm not too concerned about the Bucks. I think they have a Super Bowl roster. The question really is Tom Brady. He threw an interception against the Cowboys, but that's a really good Cowboys defense, I think. So people don't talk enough about it with Micah Parsons in that pass rush. So I think, the Buccaneers deserve to be up there. I'm not mad at you for the Vikings. I'm just saying we got to see more of a sample size with the Vikings.
Call me crazy after week 1. Justin Jefferson, number 2 overall pick in the draft. Fantasy draft. Call me crazy now, huh?
He's a dude, yeah, no doubt. I picked him in my girlfriend's dad's fantasy draft because of you.
What pick did you have?
3.
Nice.
It went Taylor, McCaffrey, and I looked at him and said, "You take Justin Jefferson."
Nice. I bet you were regretting it after Thursday Night Football.
I was a little worried. I was a little worried. But then, you know what? We ended up getting it saved. It's
all right,
well,
number 3 for me, the Baltimore Ravens.
Okay.
Baltimore Ravens, I had them at 3 going into the year. They took care of business against the Jets. The defense was what I thought it would be against the Jets. Lamar Jackson and the offense. I've got the Ravens at number 3. The Chargers, I think you have them a little bit high.
Oh, I don't think so.
I really do. Keenan Allen injured. We'll see what happens there. But if the defense is what they were against Vegas, I'm going to have to tell you this morning, you're 100% right. They're the second best team in football.
This is what I struggle with, is 3 and 4. I actually wanted to put the Chiefs at 3, but the way I thought about it is, this is how I deciphered these teams. I differentiated them. I looked at, if these two teams played right now, who would win? And I honestly think the Bucks just have a better roster defensively and offensively. So I picked the Bucks. The Chiefs did look good, though. But how in the hell do you have the Ravens and the Vikings better than the Chargers? The Chargers played both those teams right now.
Full context, going into the year, the Chargers, I believe on my list, were number 6.
So they're creeping up.
They were number 6. The Minnesota Vikings were at 5. The Ravens were at 3. Vikings, for me, that just confirmed everything I believed about them. An opening win. Kevin O'Connell, phenomenal. I think he will be the best of this rookie head coaching class. I wanted to move up the Chargers more. I did. The defensive performance sold me so much on what this team can be.
Right.
I'm going to wait a week. Top 5, I got Tampa Bay at 5. They deserve it. They were top. They were number 7, I believe, on my list last week.
Yeah.
The Rams, I had to push them back. They can't be a top 5 team looking like that on offense.
No, and you're absolutely right. But again, I think the Rams did shoot themselves in the foot. Matthew Stafford had three interceptions. So I didn't want to. I didn't want to move the Rams all the way back into the back end of the top 10. I still think they're better than the teams behind them, to be honest with you. But again, I get it. If you want to move the Rams back to 8, 9, or 10, go ahead. But I'm moving them at 5. So
fair enough. They absolutely fell on my list completely. The Bengals, we agree at 6. We still think very talented football team. I believe they play Dallas this week. They should handle business. We both agree. Cincinnati at 6. You differentiate with me here. I have Kansas City at 7. You have Baltimore a little further back than I do. No issues, though. I think we both agree these are top 10 teams in the league. They're on the list for a reason.
Right.
This is where things get interesting. You have the Eagles at 8. I believe that's where they were last week for you. They didn't change.
They were 9. They moved up
one spot. Okay.
They beat the Lions. They almost lost.
The Rams are 8 for me. And their only saving grace is that Sean McVay, Matthew Stafford, and that defense. Mm-hmm. But Allen Robinson looks like a scrub. Cam Akers, Darrell Henderson, that whole situation, you got to figure that one out quick. Because that's looking pathetic as hell. The offensive line issues they had, they gave up 7 sacks against Buffalo. That's not a recipe for success. You have him at 5. Out of respect, I'm not going to kill you for it. I just think I saw so many things that worried the hell out of me. I was really considering pulling them from my top 10 list. That was a very concerning performance, even though it was against the Buffalo Bills, who are the best team in football.
Right.
A lot of concerns with the way they move on offense. It can't just be Cooper Kupp. You got away with it last year. Robert Woods was healthy. You brought in OBJ. Robert Woods tore his ACL. OBJ fills that role for the whole season. You get to the Super Bowl, what happens? You look great on offense, he tears his ACL. You become anemic. And it took a last-minute fourth-quarter drive to win you that Super Bowl, which the guy doing it all was Cooper Kupp, who was a Super Bowl MVP. So I'd be careful, Los Angeles. That doesn't look like a team that's going to repeat with those weapons.
And listen, I would say the same thing. I would say it last year to Green Bay when they lost to the Saints. Like, you look at week 1, you look at some of these performances, it looks ugly. But again, the Rams are going to be just fine. I mean, it's not like anybody got hurt. They still have all the talent. Allen Robinson, I think, will play better and better and better. So I'm not too concerned about the Rams. I moved him to 5. I didn't want to overreact. This is why this week is the hardest week to do these rankings, because a lot of these teams are 0-1 and you're putting them in top 5. But again, this is how I feel, so I'm putting them there.
You're killing me with... There's only one thing on your list that's killing me. By the way, I did bring the Eagles up into my top 10 along with Miami.
Trust me, I'm getting there.
Where the hell's Minnesota, dude?
That's where I was getting to. And this is
what are we doing here? What do they have to do to prove it to you?
No,
what more do you want?
No, it's listen.
I'll call Kevin right now. I'll tell him, hey, Kevin, buddy, my co-host here just doesn't like you.
No, it's not that. Trust me. I like the Vikings a lot. The place I struggled with them is I was going to put them 10 over the Saints. But I just think the Saints offensively, and I get the Vikings offensively have a lot of talent. But I just think with Jameis Winston, if depending on what Jameis Winston you're getting, by the way, I do like the Saints as a more complete team offensively and defensively. But they have Justin Jefferson on the Vikings. So if you want to put the Vikings at 10 or anywhere in the back end, I'm okay with that. I wouldn't have them at 2, but they deserve to be in the top 10. I can't really deny that. I mean, if you want to put them over the Saints, I'm okay with it. But the other 9 teams, I don't have any question marks about. I think the Dolphins, I'm glad you put them. Welcome to the club. You put the Dolphins in the top 10.
What'd I tell you 6 months ago?
Mike McDaniel's that guy. So we
5 months ago, I believe it was. Mike McDaniel. Not that he's just that guy. I just love him as a dude. He is such a great guy. Very chill. Look, to win at home against Bill Belichick, rookie coaches struggle against Bill. He had no issues. Right. He had no issues, and I think that is why, me personally, going into the year, I have New England where they are. 7 points against Miami. Miami's no super team. Look, they're talented, but pathetic.
Defense looked good,
Pathetic offensively. Defense, like always with Bill Belichick, they come to play.
Well, the Dolphins' defense.
Well, that too, yes.
Yeah. But, hey, again, guys, in the Vikings, though, I want to have this conversation because you've been high in the Vikings. They've been in your top, 4? What were they last week? You had them in top 5, right? Before they went to 2?
Minnesota was number 5 on my list last week.
And listen, I get it. The Vikings do look good. I just...
Again, you guys, whatever. You have your own list. You can write it. You can type it in the chat. I don't really care. This is exactly how I play fantasy football. I don't start my list based on last year. I start my list based on what I think and who I think will be there this season. Minnesota and Baltimore, for me, were teams last year nobody loved.
Right,
Going into the year, there was hope for them. I'm very high on them. So far, they've proven me right. It's only 1 week, though. There's a lot of time left in the season. But, Jeff, we're going to take a pause. When we get back, we will be joined by Anthony Broome. My guy. Love him. Love him to go over some Michigan football, the J.J. McCarthy situation, what it means for the Michigan program, all that and much, much more. But before we do, Jeff, our good friends over at Chili Peppers, or excuse me, Chili Peppers
I'll
Tanning.
tell you, because, guys, winter is coming up, so you can't get outside and use that sun to get a tan. You can go down to Chili Peppers Tanning, though, and get a crispy tan. Join the Pepper Club at Chili Peppers Tanning. You'll get all the best deals, plus they'll beat all competitors by $5. Chili Peppers has the hottest bulbs, the hottest deals, and the darkest tans. 26 locations and more on the way.
Chili Peppers tan.
You're an ugly guy, and that's okay because you've outkicked your coverage with your significant other. Well, that's good news for you. Their hotness and your notness could get you front row tickets. The Woodward Sports Network is giving you a chance to sit front row for the Detroit versus Washington football game. That's right. We're looking for the ugliest guy and the hottest girl. So fellas, come on. If you know you've outkicked your coverage, here's your chance. Post a pic of you and your superior-looking partner on Twitter or Instagram with hashtag Woodward Front Row. Follow us and tag @Woodward Sports. Hurry, because we'll be selecting a winner September 16th. We can't wait to see you. Well, her. From the network that always outkicks the competition. Woodward Sports.
For a limited time only, all new burgers and loaded fries at Big Boy. It's not a Slim Jim, it's the Big Jim. The chili cheese is such a tease. Guess what else is new? The bacon blue. How about upgrading those fries? Chili cheese fries, baked potato fries, nacho fries, what will it be? Satisfy those taste buds at Big Boy.
Hey, this is Mr. Kearney, Chief Academic Officer at Academy of Warren. I want to welcome you to the brand new field house. The state-of-the-art facility has a regulation basketball court, volleyball court, soccer field. It can be used for 7-on-7 football. Our K-8 academic features AM, PM, latchkey, small classroom sizes, Learning Street, futuristic media center, free breakfast and lunch, Houghton Mifflin curriculum, academic games, K-8 athletics, and more. Enroll today at academywarren.net.
Network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network.
And ladies and gentlemen, this is very simple. This is very simple. When you deal with people like Fish, like I do every day, you need a few drinks, and the Mulligan is the absolute right choice for you. Gypsy vodka, 8% alcohol, iced tea, lemonade. The Mulligan is the official drink of the summer. It's the official drink of me when I have to deal with Fish. And please, unlike me, please drink responsibly. And we're back here on the Morning Woodward Show, joined by our good friend Anthony Broome from thewolverine.com. Make sure, by the way, you sign up today at thewolverine.com. Receive 1 full year of premium access for just $1. That's 12 months of all Michigan football coverage, basketball, recruiting coverage, you name it. Just go to thewolverine.com. Anthony, good morning, bud.
Of course. Thank you for the shout out too. Your residuals check is already in the mail, my friend.
No, always have to show love, man. Look, the last time we had you on here, we were previewing the J.J. McCarthy era. It was his first start against Hawaii. A lot of high expectations for the kid. And I'm not going to lie to you, Anthony. That was more than I expected. It just was. And I think the world of J.J., but oh my God. That performance was, I think, one of the greatest single performances for a quarterback, given the nature of it, the first career start, I should say, for JJ, given all the pressure around it. I mean, he came out and just showed you what he has.
Yeah, everything was on display, and everything is adjusted for opponent in that it is Hawaii, right? The touchdown, his first touchdown throw to Roman Wilson, I mean, there was not a defender within 10, 15 yards of him. And that says a lot about Roman Wilson, too. I mean, blew past his defender at the line of scrimmage. But, yeah, I think it looked the way it had to look against a team like that. It was sharp. It was, like I said, like for the week before. And, again, I'm not going to use this segment as a Cade McNamara bash. I think that the way it played out, your eyeballs saw exactly what it told the story, and this battle was decided on the field. But in week one, it didn't look sharp. Everything was a bit flat. You could tell that one guy was feeling the pressure where they just let JJ come out on Saturday night and they balled. It was impressive. I mean, aside from his only flaw, and it's not even his flaw of the night, was a drop that Ronnie Bell had. I mean, he was right on the money with all of his throws. I mean, forget the touchdowns. I mean, he roped a ball to Cornelius Johnson on a post route that was, given it was Hawaii, I think covered as well as it could have been, but the ball was just dropped in there right on the money, and the next play comes out and fires a touchdown in. A ball comes off his hands 100 miles an hour to Ronnie Bell. So, yeah, I mean, it looks Jim Harbaugh, I think, played this correctly. I think that, in camp, Cade McNamara didn't do anything to lose the job, and he was he was accomplished last year. And again, it didn't really. This non-conference slate is so bad that I think you could kind of give him a start at the beginning of the year and say, all right, we're going to give you first crack at this because you're here, you accomplished a lot for us, but it didn't. He didn't perform the way that they thought he might, or he thought he might, and it gave way to the other guy. And like I said, I think that Jim Harbaugh did a really nice job, and just it's over now. Like, our eyeballs saw it, they saw it. That they are ready to take this offense to the next level. And yeah, you're probably not going to have a lot of resistance this week against UConn. You'll have a little more next week against Maryland. But he often says that the only way to get better at football is to play more football. And I think everyone's kind of come to the consensus that it's time for J.J. McCarthy to play some more football. And that's where they're at. I was very impressed. I saw everything I needed to see.
Well, thank you, number one, for taking the time, Anthony. I wanted to ask you about JJ because you brought it up too, taking this offense to the next level. We saw what he can do against Hawaii. We probably know what he can do against UConn. But in a big picture sense, how does this change the expectations for Michigan versus Cade and JJ McCarthy? Where does this take them as opposed to taking on MSU or Ohio State? Like, where do they rank now, you think, with JJ instead of Cade when it's all said and done, contending for the Big Ten?
Yeah, well, I honestly still believe in my heart of hearts, like, this is a Big Ten title contender with Cade McNamara at quarterback. And I still believe that's what they are with JJ. Now, when we talk about ceiling and what it does to their ceiling, when you, and again, it's not a knock against Cade McNamara, but it's like the Goldilocks thing, right? Where the porridge has to be the correct temperature and everything has to be just right for him to succeed. And you saw in a game like Georgia where if something's not going perfectly, then he's not exactly set up for success. And we'll see what happens with JJ in that regard. But he's the type of athlete and the type of player that you see it with just the options he brings in the field in terms of the second he steps onto the field, it's something the defense has to think about in terms of, okay, this guy can run the football. They did ran some really nice stuff out of RPO looks on Saturday night. He is a threat to scramble. When you have a guy that has that arm talent and frankly the athleticism and running ability that he has as well, that is something that can be an equalizer, because really no matter what happens, unless there's a big change on the recruiting trail, whenever you play in Ohio State or Georgia or in Alabama, you're going to have a little bit of a talent disadvantage. And the easiest way to overcome something like that is to have a star quarterback. And I think it's a little premature to crown J.J. McCarthy, the next. I've seen people compare him to Lamar Jackson or Robert Griffin III.
God.
That potential's there.
Right.
And it's exciting that it looks like they have the tools to kind of unlock that. But when things go off schedule, you need a guy who can make things happen. And you see it with the arm talent. You see it with how fast he is in the run game. He told us last week when we talked to him that he's running somewhere in the 4.5s right now. It's just this is
night and day difference.
This is a gift for them because these type of quarterbacks don't come to Michigan. So they need to embrace that and put this guy in the best position to succeed. But I think he can inherently do a lot of that on his own.
All right, look, we did this so much last season in the early stages of the year, even after the Michigan State loss and even leading up to the Ohio State win. It was, J.J. McCarthy, the future of the program. He's now here. And what it means for Michigan's program, in my opinion, Anthony, this is one of the greatest things to happen to the program, in my opinion. Granted, it's way too early. Yes, it was Hawaii, but the fundamental point behind this is that if you're able to recruit 4 or 5-star players, well, inherently you're going to have talented teams, and talented teams typically compete in college football, let alone compete against SEC programs that typically have more talent than a typical Michigan State, even Ohio State at times would ever have. So having J.J. McCarthy play against Hawaii the way he did, make the throws he made on the run, the darts he threw, the tight spirals he threw, the attention he brought into the box, I think it'll open up the Michigan offense, like you said, but more importantly, the recruiting. We talked about it even before the season started. A little disappointing, Big Ten champions. Jim Harbaugh flirting with the Vikings. And then nothing really goes their way, and they're kind of somewhere between 18 and 25 last I checked in the recruiting cycle. This, for me, if I'm a Jaden Davis, I believe he was in attendance for that game. I can do that. I would love to do that here at Michigan. That'd be cool. Now you can pitch wide receivers. Now you can pitch quarterbacks. Now you can pitch these skill position players. Hey, playing at the University of Michigan isn't just a defensive output for the NFL and offensive line. It's, hey, we have skill position players. We take care of our quarterbacks. Like, you have a whole new pitch deck with him. And I did want to show you something. This was pre-snap against Hawaii, and this for me is everything. And most of the times you're not going to get this look with Cade McNamara at quarterback. And that is, you're probably going to see 6 to 7 people in the box off the gate. They're in shotgun formation. And excuse me, I'm dying over here, Anthony. You've got 7 people in the box. And pre-snap, it's a play action pass. There's nothing really here, but what you'll notice at the end of it is that you're going to see 8 people in the box by the time the ball is out between. So here, let's just start from the beginning now that it's on the screen. You've got 6 people in the box, Anthony. All right? This is a typical Michigan running formation. You got 2 tight ends. Everything looks good. And this is their opportunity to take a deep shot. It's 1st and 10, early start against Hawaii. This has deep shot written all over it. And where are the safeties? Right now, they're off the screen. And let's see what happens when Michigan threaten the run. They threaten the run. You got 6 people coming up in the box. What you'll notice on the next one is that the safety is running up full speed. You see him over there on the far top right, or excuse me, top left. And then the next slide, you're going to see the final safety come into the screen. Now you got 8 people within that box radius. And J.J. McCarthy has one-on-one matchups. Roman Wilson, we all know his speed. The rest is history. That to me is what J.J. McCarthy brings to the table. If it's Cade McNamara, you're not even concerned at what could go on in the backfield. For me, this is program changing. It's offensive changing. Everything changes with this kid at quarterback, Anthony.
Yeah, I think something I would compare it to, and I didn't know we'd be breaking down film stuff. It's impressive. Production values off the charts around here. It is. You're totally right. I mean, it's just something when he snaps the football, even if it's just human nature and based on what you've game planned for all week, you're thinking, okay, even if we have this covered perfectly, this is a guy who can get out the back door on us. And we've talked to Michigan defensive players about that in practice, where you could have it covered perfectly, but that's a guy who can slip out the back gate, and you got to get on your horse and go get after him. So even if that's, even if everyone doesn't come crashing down, and obviously on a play like the one that you just showed, I mean, the wide receivers have to win their one-on-ones. Roman Wilson was able to do that because he is like a 4-3 runner, and they have other guys that can do that as well. But I'm eager to see what happens when there's a little resistance. Maryland, at least athletically, a couple weeks from now, you'll start seeing the caliber of athlete and recruit that maybe is a little closer to Michigan. Iowa will definitely be the challenge a couple weeks from now. It's everything it's like a dimmer switch, because you're not going to see UConn provide much resistance. Maryland will be a little more difficult. Iowa, that might be drinking from a fire hose a bit, because we know how good that team can be defensively, but right now they're setting offense back 50 years the way that they play on the field. So, from there you go Indiana, Penn State, Michigan State. It just kind of slowly cranks up. And when you're trying to get a guy, let's call a spade. This is still a guy who's very young and has a lot of learning and growing to do. That's the most exciting thing. I mean, from an impact standpoint, I do think that it's a lot like, to use another local team as a comparison, I think it is a lot like getting a Cade Cunningham with the Pistons, where you have been waiting for this guy at arguably the most position on the field, on the court, whatever it is, for years. I mean, 20 years, 15 years, whatever it is for Michigan. You have him, and now you let him grow. You put the pieces around him to be successful, and the ceiling of the operation that you're running just inherently raises, because he's so gifted, he's so talented. And you know what the other thing is? he is wise beyond his years. This isn't just some young hotshot phenom who's got the talent in droves. I mean, this is a guy who I think he high-fived every player on the team before the game. He's beloved. He's respected in the locker room. Both of those quarterbacks are. I mean, this is a very unique. I don't know that there's much love lost between the two of them personally, but in that locker room, that the players are able to block out the noise and not take sides and things like that. But both those guys are loved. And JJ McCarthy, he's got the combination of leadership, skill set. I mean, he checks every single box for them, and it's go time. I mean, it has begun. People have been calling for it for a year or so. I don't know that he would have quite been ready for this last year, but he's ready for it now, and he's the guy moving forward.
And you mentioned it, both quarterbacks are loved very much, and I'm glad, we talked about this too. I'm glad Cade, and we weren't sure if Cade was going to get in the ball game if it was, a 30, 40-point game, but he did. And I want to hear your thoughts, or your take, just on Cade getting booed. And was it more so Cade getting booed, or was it booing because JJ was leaving the game? Like, what did you make of that?
It's hard to tell. I was up in the press box, and typically when the weather is the way it is right now, they do have a window open, so you can kind of hear what's going on in the crowd. I think it's probably a combination of factors. I think people probably booing the fact that JJ was pulled out of the game, period, while he was sort of bawling still. There are always idiots too. I mean, this is, you guys know this. You create content. You have a platform. Anything is polarizing these days. So it was also a night game. I'm not going to rule out the fact that people in the crowd may have had a couple beverages too many. Waited an extra hour because of the lightning delay. The fact of the matter is, if you're someone who is booing Cade McNamara at all, I mean, he is still, despite what his limitations might be from a skill set perspective, that dude is, I'm telling you guys, he is every bit as important in turning the ship around last year as an Aiden Hutchinson was, as a David Ojabo, Josh Ross, Hassan Haskins was. This was a guy that quarterbacked a team that beat the Ohio State Buckeyes for the first time in 10 years, got a Big Ten title, went to the college football playoff. Regardless of how you feel as a player, I mean, that guy, I'll stop short of calling him a Michigan legend, but that will go down as one of, assuming that the JJ stuff pans out moving forward, I mean, that's going to go down as one of the most successful bridge situations that you could have possibly imagined. I mean, think about it this way. If that guy doesn't come in for Joe Milton at Rutgers in 2020, Michigan probably loses that game. Jim Harbaugh is probably fired. And then obviously everything that happens after that, I mean, that is one of the most consequential quarterback changes, that 2020 season that there could have been. I mean, I know his skill set didn't wow people always on the field, but his presence and what he brought to the table and what he was just able to kind of help them guide to was program changing. And I think he deserves props for that, regardless of skill set, regardless of how he looked in week one. They might need him at some point. The way that JJ runs, he could get knocked out of the game for a drive or hopefully not longer than that. And you might need that guy to put a drive together at some point. And if that's the case, there is no more qualified QB2 in the country, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
All right, well, Anthony, I can't thank you enough. Phenomenal. Appreciate you so much. Definitely get you back Thursday. Whew, big week, man. Big week. Michigan moved up in the top 25. They're now, I believe, 4 in the country, ranked number 4. Don't be shocked, man. Don't be shocked if they run the table. They've got the offense now. They've got the quarterback. I'm excited for them. Anthony, thanks so much. We'll talk soon.
Of course. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right, that was Anthony Broome from thewolverine.com. Make sure you check him out. Whew, a little bit over. Top of the hour, 9:04 right now, actually. So we'll take a quick pause. When we get back, the Lions have opened up as 2.5-point favorites against the Commanders. Is it already time for a must-win game? We'll get to that and more in just a bit. But before we do, Jeff, our good friends over at the Sports Marketing Agency.
Yes, guys, the Sports Marketing Agency helps spread awareness about mental health and substance abuse. Their new podcast, This is the F Word, F standing for fentanyl, help spread awareness of fentanyl and other addictions. Go to thesportsma.com if you are struggling or know someone who is.
Hi, my diamonds. It's Crystal with an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
Detroit's downtown summer playground is back. Open all summer long, the Monroe Street Midway. Enjoy roller skating, free Wi-Fi, food trucks, art installations, and so much more. Don't forget to take advantage of the basketball court, putt-putt, and, of course, family programming all summer long. All art installations are done by Detroit artists, and it's a fun, safe event from people 1 to 100. Go to deckedoutdetroit.com.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
Let me tell you about our friends at the Fulling Warehouse. Fulling Warehouse in Hamtramck is the home of the original football bowling game. 2 to play, $12, or they have the unlimited open play for $120. You can, reserve a lane, you can bring 10 people, and you can take you and your friends over to the $2 mystery beer machine and the full bar. Check it out, fullingwarehouse.com.
All right, we're back, 9:06, a little past the top of the hour. Brought to you by our good friends over at Bedrock Detroit. Jeff, we got 10 minutes. Lines open up as 2.5-point favorites. Your thoughts? Is it a must-win game?
I think
and
so.
I hate saying that.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty early to start calling out must-wins, but I think for the Lions, I do think it's a must-win because you look at what's after Washington. That's Minnesota. That's a tougher game than Washington. So you'd like them to win. If you lose to Washington, you lose to Minnesota, you're 0-3 facing Seattle at home. So again, you don't want to get into those waters, especially because you follow after Seattle. You have New England, Dallas. I get without Dak. Miami, Green Bay, like you could be easily in a 1-6, 1-7 hole, 2-7, whatever it is. You don't want to get there. So in my opinion, yeah, you got to win against Washington. Dan didn't come out and say it's a must win, but he did say we have to get much better and improve. Because if we improve, considering what they looked like week 1, if they eliminate some mistakes, they clean some things up, there's no doubt they could beat the Commanders. But I would probably go as far as to say it is a must win. Just because, listen, regardless, I have them at 8 wins. To get to 8 wins, you can't dig a hole early in the season. You got to at least be, I said they got to be 2-2 after 4 games, and I'm sticking by that. So that's the goal.
What is must win, right? If you're 0-2, the chances of making the playoffs are basically none. But did anybody expect this team to be a playoff team? Look around the room.
Yes, there are people that did.
Yeah, I know. I understand. I understand. But Jeff, you had him at 6 wins. I had him at 7.
8 wins.
Oh, was it vice versa? I'm sorry. You had him at 8 wins. I had him at 7. I do think 8 wins might be a wild card spot this year in the NFC, but that's a whole different conversation. The point I'm getting at here is, what do you have to lose this weekend? You play 9 home games. You play 2 NFC East teams to start the year. Granted, one of them is one of the favorites to win that division. You start 0-2. Look, it's not smash the panic button. It's not I'm going to go down to Ford Field and riot. It's none of it. What it is another reality check that you just can't find ways to win football games. And no, the season is not over, given, I think for the most part, you expected them to take a step forward this year, yes or no? Nobody thinks they're going to win the division. Nobody thinks they're a wild card team, or at least on this desk. So, is the season technically over after Sunday? If you had playoff hopes, probably is. But what are you looking for? Player development, coaching improvement? Mm-hmm. And you're really just looking for the team to be better. Less mistakes, competing more, winning football games, winning. Crazy how that word always comes about. Winning more games. And to start off 0-2 in the easiest part and easiest stretch of your schedule is just a no-go for me. You can't have it. You can't have it. You can't afford it. Could you very well lose to Washington, beat Seattle? or excuse me, lose. If you lose to Washington, you're probably going to go to Minnesota and lose that game. Then you beat Seattle, you beat New England. You go into the bye week, what, 2-3? Not the end of the world, but you're going to look back and say, what the hell were we thinking? Difficult situation to be in. I don't want to say it's must win, because that would mean you want to make the playoffs or you expect them to make the playoffs. But what I expect is your head coach to give you the best opportunity to win, and I don't think he did that in the first game against Philadelphia. He has a chance to make up for it against Washington. Again, it's one game. It is only the second now week of the season. The season is not technically over, or you cast judgments for the rest of the year after 2 games. But this is not the start you want.
No, and I think another reason I would add to, and I agree, it's hard to say must win, but you got to look at it like this as well. This is probably one of the most healthiest, games you're going to have with the Detroit Lions. Hopefully these guys don't get injured. But it's week 2, you have a mostly healthy team. Frank Ragnow played, and he'll probably be playing against the Commanders. You have your entire roster. I mean, this is the opportunity to go out and win. And I get Washington has their roster. Chase Young might miss the game as well. You have Carson Wentz, who's going to be much easier to game plan for than Jalen Hurts. You saw how difficult it was for this defensive line, the linebackers, to keep up with Jalen. Carson's going to be more so a statue. Like, he might take off once or twice, but he's not Jalen Hurts. He's a better pocket passer, but still he turns the ball over. You saw it last week against the Jaguars. So, in my opinion, this is a winnable game. That's why they're favored slightly. So Lions got to go out and at least take care of the job. You have your first 2 games at home, and then you go on the road to Minnesota, and then you come back for Seattle, which I would say is you got to win against Seattle. I get Seattle just beat Denver, but they're not very good still. I just think Denver made a lot of mistakes. And then you go away to New England, away to Dallas, and then you have Miami, Green Bay. So if you take into consideration, this is probably the most healthiest you're going to have this team. Number 2, you're facing a quarterback which is much easier to game plan for, and a team that I'm just not sold on yet. Washington might be better than we expect, but as of right now, I do think it's winnable, but we'll see. I just think to start 0-2, I mean, the season's not over. I mean, they could still win 7 games, to be honest with you, but it doesn't get easier for you. Now you have to beat teams that you're not favored against. Washington is a very winnable game, and I think it's very... For players to keep buying in. You see week 1, you see how it ended. For these guys to go out and win week 2 against the Commanders, I think it'll be big for the guys and the players too. So it's a big time.
I love comments like this. Detroit fans are so hard on Lions. We actually get more respect and love from outside fans than we do about this team's than the season's team. All right, Ozzy, follow me, buddy. Follow me.
Where are we going, Adam?
Look, buddy, let's make one thing very, very clear. You get more love and a pat on the back and, oh, you guys are doing good because the Eagles beat you and everybody else in the fucking league beats you, buddy. That's why. Oh, we get so much national love from all the other fans. Yeah, because their teams are too busy kicking your team's ass. That's why they show you love. You think all those Philadelphia fans would have left, Ford Field saying, man, Lions is a really good football team. Man, the future's bright. Man, they should be excited about Dan Campbell if they lost that game? What a stupid ass you are. Do me a favor, keep your stupid ass comments out of the chat. Holy hell. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Hutch will have a much better game against Washington. I think he will have 3 sacks against Wentz. Holy God.
3 sacks.
Dylan, I hope you're right, Dylan.
Me too.
Let's just put it that way. I hope you're right.
I'm excited to see him, though, against this Commanders' number 1 offensive line, but Carson.
We've got 2 minutes. Hutchinson, his performance. Walk me through it.
He just looked like a rookie in his first game. I mean, there's a lot of moments you look at with Malcolm Rodriguez. He played solid. Aiden, he looked like he was just, number 1, his goal, just get to Jalen. And it did work, but again, Jalen's so elusive, he wasn't able to secure the sack. So I can't really hate on Aiden. It was more so the defensive line entirely. They had assignments. They had jobs to do. And it wasn't just Aiden. Dan spoke on that in his press conference. So I'm not going to sit here and say Aiden looked terrible. He didn't look great. But again, he's a rookie. He's going to get better. I have him at 9.5 sacks. I think he can still achieve that this year. So I'm not concerned about Aiden. He's probably the least I'm concerned about because Dan talked about it. His professionalism. He plays like a veteran. So the guy's going to learn till next week. I'm not too concerned. He's playing a much easier matchup next week against Carson Wentz, who's not as mobile. So we'll see what Aiden can do. I mean, you saw what Trayvon Walker looked like against this Washington Commanders defense. I think Aiden, I don't know if he'll have a pick and a sack, but I think he'll have a bounce-back game. I'm not too concerned about it.
I thought the defense was pathetic in their containment.
Yeah, that's not just Aiden. That's the entire defense line.
Notion that Aiden got to the quarterback, he was putting pressure. All these fanboys, oh my God, we were putting pressure. We were putting what? What pressure? How is it pressure if he is just allowed to step up and pick left, right, up the middle? I can go wherever. That is not pressure. That is you not understanding you are going up against a mobile quarterback.
Didn't finish the play.
Who, if you do not have containment, will punish you. Which is why they were absolutely killer on third down. We'll take a quick pause. When we get back, Jeff, Dan Campbell addresses Dan Campbell addresses, quote, the elephant in the room. MicroMike joins the show at 9:29. Can't wait to talk to him. AP poll, top 25 teams released obviously on the Monday. Have to go over that at 9:41. We'll do all that and much, much more. But before we do, I got to tell you about where you should be getting your haircut, and that's at Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Open 10-8, 7 days a week, walk in anytime. They're awesome styles to take care of you like they take care of me. I got my haircut and my beard cleaned up last week. I'm feeling a lot better. Stopped looking like a grizzly bear. Let me tell you, there's no better experience. Hot leather, neck shaves, they do it all. Again, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's. It's wicked awesome.
The sports marketing agency would not be who we are without great community partners like Higuera Health and Carol Zaniga.
It's an awesome opportunity to partner with your organization. Higuera Health is a comprehensive behavioral health organization. We serve children through older adults with mental health, substance use, and developmental disabilities across Western Wayne counties, and really excited to now be in downriver communities as well. Give us a call at 734-458-4601.
You don't have to go to the beach, man. You don't have to get your butt crack full of sand. You just need a little chili peppers, man, to get that glowing beach chili peppers tan. Woo!
With 26 locations in the Metro Detroit area and more coming, Chili Peppers Tanning is where you'll find the cleanest salons in the D. Join the Pepper Club for the best deals on unlimited tanning. Head to chilipepperstanning.com.
You just need a little chili peppers, man.
Get a shot up. This is for the win. All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Jeff Iafrate here. Let me tell you about our friends at oddstrader.com. And it's the #1 site for your game day bets. They have the play-by-play updates, live scores, the best price on every game from multiple sports books. You go to oddstrader.com right now for your best bet, and you'll see all the sports books lined up. It's very convenient for you, and I got you. I got your back. OddTrader has your back. Check them out. Tell them your friends at Woodward Sports sent you.
All right, we're back here on the Morning Woodward Show. Jeff, Dan Campbell addresses, quote, the elephant in the room in regards to the play calling decisions, the timeouts, clock management, the onside kick. A lot of his pain points and his explanations were, I wanted the ball back. Right. I wanted one more possession. I felt like we could make a stop. I trusted my defense, etc., etc., etc. What are we walking away with after week 1 with Dan Campbell?
Listen, and I respect Dan, #1, for admitting and coming out and explaining his decision and his mindset during those moments. One thing that I'm slowly, it's an easier pill to swallow the more I think about it. We have to trust Dan Campbell. I mean, at the end of the day, whether you agree or disagree with his decision-making, you wait till the end of the season, or at least deep in the season, to where you can really step back and look at it from a 4,000-foot view, and you can criticize him. Right now in Game 1, I'm not going to sit here and crap on Dan Campbell because of what he felt like was a good decision. That was his decision. It didn't work out. If it did work out, we'd all be sitting here cheering. So, again, I think it's nitpicking Game 1 to say you lose by 3 to a team that I think think has a Super Bowl roster. We'll find out about Jalen Hurts, but I do like the Eagles roster a lot. And I think there's a lot of good things you could have taken away from that game. Devontae Smith not catching a ball would be number one off the top of my head. But going in, it's the Dan Campbell onside kick, whether you like it or not. The big picture is, does this affect them down the line? If they still finish the year with 7-8 wins, I don't think anybody really gives a damn about week one and the onside kick and the timeout before half. It's really the big picture for me. And, yeah, you're 0-1. It's how I expected them to start. You don't know how these games are going to go. That's why we talked, at a lot about context of games and how that matters. It absolutely does. But for me, talking about this Lions team in week one and seeing how a lot of other teams performed week one, and seeing Dan Campbell going for that onside kick, I get why people would question it. I get why people would be skeptical of it, considering last year there's a lot of decisions that Dan made that went the opposite way and lost them games. But I just think it's too early to sit here and pull out the pitchforks for Dan Campbell. I mean, honestly, we got to have a bigger sample size for it. We'll see. I think Dan will learn from this. Again, you see him after the press conference. He admitted, this is my mindset. I get where you guys are coming from, questioning my decision. But at the end of the day, it's what Dan felt like was the right decision. If we think Dan's the right guy, then you trust his decision-making. So we'll see. We'll see how this adds up. I'm not going to sit here and overreact, but I'm also not going to sit here and easily blindfold myself and be okay with everything Dan does. You got to criticize something. But we'll see. I'm not going to overreact until we're deep in the season and this team has taken a complete downfall and we can start bringing up decisions. But until then, I'm not going to overreact to it.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Look, it's not about overreacting. Are you right about big picture? Sure. Right? If you could tell me, and I could see 18 weeks from now, they were a 7-10 football team, let's say, right? Well, okay. That's easy to say. But it's all talk. Not you.
I get
but
it.
It is just talk, Jeff. It just is. What do I have to work with right now? What do I actually have to work with? One game. That's all I have. On top of the 17 last year, on top of the 5 with him as the interim. But mainly the 17 last year and the 1 this year. That's all I got. It's easy to say, and it's nice to think, well, at the end of the year, let's have the conversation, because we know, oh, well, if it works out this way, it's all talk. And again, I watched 4 or 5 football teams over this past weekend win games they had no business winning. Well, on the road, at home, and I'm not saying that the Lions have to win the Eagles game or they should
context does matter.
But you had an opportunity there, and the other teams figured it out. And they took care of business, and you didn't.
Well, that defense.
I understand. I really do. Yeah. I understand. But whose team is it? Again, I have one game to work off. It wasn't a good game. It wasn't a good start. 24 second quarter points, unacceptable. Timeout before half. The onside kick, unacceptable. If you tell me, again, we can do this all day. Well, Adam, they're going to finish 7-10. Okay. So, what is there to talk about? Because that would be improvement and what I believe this team's trajectory is. But you're not going to win 7 games playing like that. It was an improvement. Scoring, 14 fourth quarter points? Just like you did last year against the Niners, you scored 16. Come on. Let's be a little fair here, okay? Let's be a little objective. I have one game to work off this season. It wasn't the best game. It doesn't define their whole season. But like it doesn't define their whole season, we can't sit here and say, oh, there's the rest of the season and it'll work out. How about we just talk about what we saw on Sunday? Because that's all I have in front of me. And on this upcoming Sunday, we'll talk about the Washington Commanders, how they played, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
But didn't you say of the season that this offense was going to be the reason that if they have a chance to win a lot of these games, it's going to be because of offense?
Yes.
And that's what you saw. I mean, defensively, they couldn't stop Jalen Hurts. I mean, again, the fourth quarter, they didn't score. But you talked about it, 24 in the second quarter. Just say, we talked about this yesterday. Are you encouraged or discouraged?
Oh, no, I'm
very
very encouraged.
You're
I saw a lot of good things.
But you didn't like the 2 decisions he made.
I didn't like the coaching decisions.
Okay.
I did not like the play of the defense. Very, very poor containment by the defensive front.
Right, which, they struggled.
Secondary play had some moments, good and bad. I can take away positives from the first game. Don't get me wrong. But for us to just sit here and gloss over it because it was the Eagles and we didn't expect to beat them, and hey, there's still the rest of the season. I've been hearing that forever. Forever. And I am just tired of it. It's so unnecessary. It's so unnecessary. I don't see it.
And I listen, I get the frustration because you have these expectations, especially from a coaching perspective. We talked about Dan Campbell. But overall, like, versus what you saw that encouraged you versus what discouraged you, you could bring up the onside. Okay, you didn't like it. Okay, so be it. You didn't like the timeout before the half. Okay, so be it. At least Dan gave you an honest perspective of what he was thinking. Whether you agree or disagree, we'll see how the season pans out. But from a team perspective, defensively, I'm with you. They didn't do a good job containing Jalen Hurts. But did we think they would do an excellent job containing Jalen Hurts? Because I thought they'd struggle against Jalen Hurts. That's why I had them losing. So, I'm not too surprised by what I saw. If anything, I'm encouraged offensively to be able to score, end up with 35 against that defense for Philadelphia. I get it's week 1. But I get where you're coming from, but overall, I was able to take away more things that I liked rather than looking at the 2 things that Dan Campbell did. Because if you look around the league, I'm sure there's a lot of things a lot of teams didn't like what their coaches did. But with Dan, I get it. You're a little frustrated by the onside, but we have to see if he learns from it. We have to see how he adjusts to it in his decision-making going forward. I'm not going to overreact because I do think I saw a lot more good than bad, and I think that's a good thing to take away from a game that I didn't think they'd win regardless. So that's how I feel.
Look, can we just agree? Let's find some common ground here. Is the season over? I think we'd both answer no. Is it time to overreact and hit the panic button? Would we both agree and say no?
No, you're not panicking.
But what do I have to work with, Jeff?
A team that played Philly very, very close. I get they gave up the pick 6. Defensively, they weren't very good.
They played the Niners close last year, didn't they?
Well, in the fourth quarter, they had to go for 2 onside to try and get the ball back.
I understand,
the context was different.
But they outscored the Niners 16-3 in the fourth quarter.
But they also didn't spot the Niners 7 because of Jared Goff's pick 6. So it's,
I could have sworn they actually got a pick 6 that game. I'm not going to lie to you.
Right,
I'm not going to lie to you.
Okay, forget it. But the point I'm making is you can't overreact to the week 1. I think there was a lot more things you liked. Come on, you got to admit it. If you want to bring up Dan and his 2 decisions, you can, but it's not going to. Overall, the defense couldn't stop that. Like, I don't think Dan's onside or the timeout before half would have shifted momentum. If Jared doesn't throw the pick 6, maybe that's a different conversation. But I'm just asking you, what were you discouraged by, or what are you questioning besides Dan? Is it just Dan from a coaching perspective?
It's not that I'm questioning Dan. No.
It's just you want them to beat good teams if you have a chance to beat them. Is that your point?
There's multiple points, with that being one of them.
Okay.
It is a. Jeff, please hear me out.
I'm listening.
Because I know I'm difficult sometimes.
I'm all ears.
But really, just hear the point I'm trying to make this morning.
Okay.
I'm not pinning it on Dan Campbell. That performance was not all that great on defense. We all know how talentless they are on defense and that they have a long way to go. We all knew the offense would be the brighter spot of this team going into the year. Like, we have a lot of common ground here, everybody. But where you lose me is with a timeout before half, instead of going in down 7, you go in now down 10. It backfires on you. They come out and score out of the half. Now you're down 17 instead of 14. So now you're down 3 instead of 2.
Mm-hmm.
You score, and instead of making it a 1-possession game, you make it a 2-possession game. And instead of kicking it off, and hopefully your second half adjustments, that your job as a coach is to make, instead of relying on that, you go for the onside kick, gives them a short field, they go down, they score, the rest is history. And no, ladies and gentlemen, this is not hindsight, 2020. But I don't want to beat a dead horse. MicroMike is joining us in just a bit. We'll ask him all of this. Am I being a complete dick? Probably. You know what?
I think you are.
The reality is I'm not changing my expectations. I'm not moving off of my expectation for a NFL franchise, for an NFL coach. I'm not doing it. Like it or not. We'll be right back, but before we go, Jeff, our good friends over at Cintron.
Yes, guys, I'm drinking Cintron. You know what time it is. It's Cintron. They're the official energy drink of the Red Wings, and they've combined all 3 of their flavors. You see it in their 6-pack sampler box. You got cranberry, you got sugar-free, you got the original. Today I'm rocking with the original. Cintron is the real deal. You could try them. Pre-order your Cintron 6-pack sampler box today at cintronworld.com/Red Wings. Get energized with Cintron.
Hey, it's Scott from the Bet Show. Hey, coming off a hot Monday night, we had the under. We also had the Seahawks over there at 4:30 at the Woodward Bets YouTube page. You guys got to make sure you come over and check us out. You also got to get over that app store and download oddstrader.com. It's got live scoring, play-by-play updates, and the best place to check all the odds at the sports books right in the palm of your hand. But hey, we got to get to some fun coupons. Let's stay hot. Back to baseball. Listen, we're going to go with the Tigers and Astros under. Both teams are number 1 and number 2 in unders games played. That sounds good to me. oddstrader.com. Woodward Bets. Check it out.
Hi, I'm John from Better Rate Mortgage, and to me, family is more than blood. That's why I have the biggest family in Metro Detroit. If you're looking to buy a house or refinance and need a loan, come get treated better than family by me and our entire team here at Better Rate Mortgage. We pride ourselves on giving you better advice, better service, and a better loan experience. That's why we are Better Rate. If you're looking for a new mortgage, come get treated like family. Actually, better with Better Rate Mortgage. Visit us at mybetterrate.com or call at 248-480-4467 today.
The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports, Detroit's winning sports network.
Open till the end of September 25th to be exact. Bedrock Detroit brings you the Monroe Street Midway, live music, food trucks, basketball courts, and so much more. It is an absolute great time, fun, safe event. Make sure you check it out. The summer is better at the Monroe Street Midway. We're back. We are back here on the Morning Woodward Show, joined by our good friend, MicroMike from Lions Talk. I gotta say, Mike, good morning. How are you, man?
I am living the dream. Good morning to everybody out there. Good morning, Adam. But I gotta say, 654 you are in here and only 114 likes. That's not a good morning.
Mike! Tell him!
God damn it, smash that like button.
I love it.
I love it. I love it, Mike. Look, you know, me and Jeff were having the conversation. He was asking me, you know, why I am the way I am this morning and even yesterday. And it's not that I'm putting this all on Dan Campbell or that I'm ignorant to the fact that the defense wasn't all that good and that the offense went a 10, 15-minute stretch where they couldn't move the ball. Like, there are a lot of factors to why the Lions blew this game, but they did blow it. You came out 7-0. You had a playoff atmosphere. You had a turnover on downs that you forced the Eagles into. You had it all in front of you. And, Mike, your thoughts on the game over the weekend, but Seattle, Chicago, the Giants, and the Steelers, they found a way. On the road, at home, they found a way. We need the Lions to find a way. Like, I can't just be, it's okay, we lost because they were better. Your thoughts on Sunday?
First, I gotta say this, Adam. I gotta give you a hug, man. You need to get a little happier.
Give it to him, Mike.
Hey, I understand we lost this game, but I gotta say, I did not expect the Detroit Lions to win this game. The talent from the Philadelphia Eagles is better than the Detroit Lions. I had the Eagles winning 38-32. That was my prediction. Defensive line, offensive line, they were stacked as a football team, and it's a difficult when you're going against a dual threat quarterback. And if you looked at preseason and last year, the Lions' inability to stop a mobile quarterback is very evident. We didn't game plan for that, and it was going to be a struggle when you have a quarterback like Jalen Hurts, and we have nothing to stop him. So having a player like that, having the defense struggle, this is exactly what played out, and definitely is exactly what I thought it would happen.
Mike, I said yesterday, watching DeAndre Swift, I mean, offensively, he's special. And I'm glad he's taken that next step. And I wanted to ask you, too, because I said this yesterday on the show. I really believe that the Lions right now, and you kind of saw it on Sunday, they're treating this backfield like it's still a split backfield between Jamal and DeAndre Swift. Watching the game and watching what DeAndre Swift was doing, I get you don't want to injure him. You don't want to put too much carries and too much of a workload on his shoulders. But watching DeAndre, what is it time to unleash DeAndre? Because I said I believe this carry share should be like 70-30, maybe 60-40. What is your take on that?
They should have unleashed DeAndre Swift starting last year. He needs to be unleashed now and immediately. It's a big difference when you see DeAndre Swift in the game and compared to Jamal Williams. DeAndre Swift can hit the big play. Seems like every single time. When Jamal Williams get in there, you can tell that it's not the same. He can get those 1 or 2 yards, but he's not going to get that breakaway big run you want to see, like you see from DeAndre Swift. He can do it all. And my question is, why do they keep forcing Jamal Williams in there when you got Craig Reynolds? How about you give him some reps if you're not going to play Swift? I think he's a little bit better in the middle and to get bigger yards than Jamal Williams. But you're 100% right. I want to see 25 carries for Swift.
And another thing I was able to point out too, and I did want to get your take on it, is Aiden Hutchinson. You saw him at least getting pressure, but it's about containing Jalen Hurts, and that's what, it's not even just him. The whole D-line struggled to do that. Same with the linebackers. What did you take away from Aiden's first game against an offensive line that I believe is the best in football?
Just like you were saying, the whole defense was just terrible at trying to contain Jalen Hurts. This is how the defense runs. This has been happening now for over a year now when it comes to Aiden Hutchinson. Kind of what I thought there. Jalen Hurts is faster than he is. He would get close. Jalen Hurts would scramble, get out of the way, and he got his rookie moment. And I think when it comes to dual threat and mobile quarterbacks, you're going to see this quite a bit. He'll learn every single game. I expect Carson Wentz to not get the exact same type of treatment, though. Expect Aiden Hutchinson to hit home on him.
Fair enough. Look, I'm not going to overreact again to a week 1 performance from a rookie. They broke containment, Mike. They didn't do a good job, whether you want to bring it down to coaching, whatever you want. It was just not a good performance overall. But I have to say, Washington coming up this week, we had a conversation on the phone yesterday. They have 4 games coming up, all winnable. And I don't mean that in hyperbole. Minnesota, probably the game I think you really have no business winning. But New England, Seattle, Dallas without Dak, the games are there. I don't want to have to sit here and go through the schedule and say, well, you should beat the bad teams and you should lose to the good teams. That's not how the NFL works. Look at week 1. It is a prime example of how the NFL is. Is this week a must-win, Mike, at home against Washington, or is it way too early? It's still a development year. We're not going to sit here and hit the panic button, which I don't think we should do.
For me, it's a must-win to try to change this culture. If you're trying to win games and you're trying to be a good football team, you got to win the games you're favored to win. And the Washington Commanders, I went through the roster yesterday, through the scouting report. The Lions have a better roster all around. Offensively, they got better weapons. They must win this game. How are you going to preach that we're trying to change something when we continue to lose games? And if you lose Sunday, and you got the Minnesota Vikings, potentially lose there, 0-3. That's not a good start. Not at all. They got to go into this game and win. And if they don't win, there's got to be some heat looking at towards our coaching staff, whether it be defensively, if they're still missing assignments, or even Dan Campbell. Because, hey, this game's a must-win, in my opinion. We got to get this thing going in the right direction right now.
Another thing I was able to point out is I was very, not pleased with T.J. Hawkinson's performance, and I get the offense. There were some things you're watching the game, like T.J. made some plays, but he's targeted 7 times. He only caught 4 balls. And you could, talk about the offense, whatever, the first week jitters. But for T.J., we talk about, I think we had John last week too, we talked about how big of a year it is for T.J. What did you take away from game 1, and does that kind of change any expectations for you moving forward with T.J. Hawkinson, or at least give you any concern? Because you're going to have to pay him.
For me, regarding T.J. Hawkinson, he's got to have a big year this year to get that contract extension, to get that top 5 type of tight end money. And he didn't live up to it last week. He didn't live up to it Sunday. He's got to keep proving it. And this is why I didn't want to sign him before the season starts, because there is questions regarding T.J. Hawkinson. This guy was drafted with the 8th pick in the draft. He needs to live up to it. He needs to be the guy that's a game changer on offense for Jared Goff. He needs to be reliable. If the ball is in his hands, he's got to catch it. If he's got to be able to push the pile, he's got to push it. There's no more excuses for T.J. Hawkinson. He's got to get it done.
Mike, I got to ask you, what'd you make of the onside call? What'd you make of the timeout before the half, the timeout to start the half shortly after the Eagles received the ball?
The timeout right before the half was ridiculously dumb. I was very upset about it watching the game. It gave them a chance to get 3 extra points. It didn't make any sense. They're going to run the clock out. It would have been a done deal. The timeout in the second half, in the beginning, in the third quarter, was also dumb. You got to be able to control those timeouts and have them at the end of the game. You're behind. You know you're behind. You're going to need them probably with the last 5 minutes of a football game. The onside kick, I was a little indifferent about. I get both sides here. The defense for the Lions were cheeks. They're giving up everything. And maybe Dan Campbell saying we got to be able to, get some points on the board because the defense can't stop anything. But at the same time, just like Adam, you say, you're just giving the ball back to the Philadelphia Eagles. Great field position, easy points. Now you're down by 17.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Mike. It was tough for me because you're down 7 going into the half almost, and that timeout gives Philly the confidence. They go and make a big play downfield. They settle for a field goal. Now you're down 2 scores. Philly gets the ball at halftime. You make your halftime adjustments. They come out and just continue what they were doing in the second quarter, and they go and score on you relatively easily. And now you're down 3 possessions instead of 2. You get the ball back. You score. Down 10, 3.5 minutes roughly. In the third quarter with the whole fourth quarter to play, and an onside kick, and Campbell's reasoning was he didn't want to give the ball back to the Eagles, so they go and spend 8, 6, 7, 8, 10 minutes driving. Well, dude, what would you do at halftime? Like, your job is to stop them. It can't be, I trust my defense, so I'm going to put us in a really bad situation if this doesn't work, and it'll work out, which it didn't, and then you're down 17, and then you follow it up again and score, and then you score, but it's too late. It's too late. The Eagles were just playing clock management in the fourth quarter, and you had relatively no chance. It was over. It's so frustrating to me. Just try not to shoot yourself in the foot. That's all I'm asking, Mike.
It's frustrating being a Lions fan. It's like literally taking a hammer to your teeth and just continually to pound it. There's always pain coming your way. It's something you got to deal with. I think we're going in the right direction, but when it comes to Dan Campbell, he's got to be better regarding calling timeouts. He's got to understand that it really can change a game. And I don't think he's figured that out yet. You got to be sound with these timeouts. It's really, really important. When it comes to doing the onside kick, Siebert is not Patterson. That was a terrible onside kick. The execution was absolutely awful, so maybe they'll rethink it with him at the helmet kicker.
Yeah, again, you can't compound the right before half decision, coming out of half timeout decision, on top of the onside kick. Like, those are 3 killers. And even if one isn't solely responsible for the loss, they all play a role in it. You have to factor these when making these decisions. Mike, I appreciate 100%, I appreciate you so much for coming on this morning. Have to have you back 100%. Maybe before the weekends or next week after the game. We'll definitely chat after the show, but thanks so much for stopping by.
Thanks, Mike.
Hey, appreciate it, guys. I love being on. Absolutely get me on, or I'm coming after you, Adam. I got your
careful
number.
how you say that. Careful. I don't want you getting on me.
Hey, I was watching heavyweights last night. A little excited.
Oh,
hey.
They were doing some heavyweight things.
Yeah. Oh
Go
my
Lions.
God. They couldn't. Can I get Solo Cam on for a second? This was the heavyweights trying to talk. They're looking directly into their camera. Oh, well, today on the Lions game. On the Lions today. The Lions. The Lions today. Oh, my goodness.
They were in some territory.
They could not stay focused at all. It was hilarious. But we'll take a quick break. When we get back, AP poll, top 25 teams in college football. Michigan, where they're ranked. Ohio State, Alabama,
and
Georgia.
I got a problem with this, by the way.
I can't wait. BYU all the way up to 12, so I have a problem with that.
Hey, we gotta see that.
I know. I gotta do it. I know.
You gotta take your shirt off.
I'm gonna do it. Don't worry. Best defense on and off the field, though. Jeff,
let me tell you about it. It's the Guardian Alarm, guys. Summertime is over, and that means you're still spending a little more time outside before the snow hits. Let Guardian Alarm give you peace of mind while you're out enjoying the sunshine. Call 1-800-STAY-OUT today, and you can rest easy knowing you have 24/7 protection. That's 1-800-STAY-OUT. Let them know your friends at Woodward Sports sent you.
Take betting advice for him.
Hi, my diamonds. It's Crystal with an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
It's a great day to get some Centron in your life. Okay. There it is. Centron, here we go. Gotta grab the cranberry. Oh wait, it's 2 for $4. Gotta double up with the classic as well. Centron World, baby. Centron, available at select Krogers. And if you want to know how, go to @CentronWorld.com. You get dope like me. You know what? Why wait? Great taste, guaranteed.
Make sure you're listening to Woodward Sports all day long. Start your morning with the Morning Woodward Show. Spend middays with Big D Energy. Watch and listen your drive home with the bottom line. And don't forget about Woodward Bets Daily. All live, all right here on the Woodward Sports Network.
Let me tell you about our friends at Big Frog, because guys, you can get a free Woodward Sports t-shirt. I said it, a free Woodward Sports t-shirt. That's right, all month long at Big Frog in Novi. Stop in, tell them we sent you, and they will print one out for you on the spot. So go to Big Frog in Novi today, get your free t-shirt. I said it, free t-shirt. Or visit them online at bigfrog.com/Novi.
All right, we're back here on the Morning Woodward Show. Jeff, AP poll come out. Georgia, the new number 1. Bama, number 2. Ohio State, 3.
Yeah.
Michigan, 4. Clemson, 5. Oklahoma, 6. USC, all the way up to 7. And one of the 2 teams, actually, that took the biggest leaps were Kentucky, 11 spots up, and BYU, 9 spots up. And I got to say, hell of a job by Kentucky to beat Florida.
Hey, how about Anthony Richardson, man?
I can't believe we had that whole talk. I mean, I'm glad we didn't cover it on this show.
No, we did.
But the fact that that was even a thing for a few days was pathetic, embarrassing, and it shows you how small-minded people are.
And I want to bring up, I had one issue with this AP poll.
Which team?
Oregon Ducks. They're 25th. They blew out Eastern Washington. I get they lost to Georgia, the defending national champions.
Whoa,
But
they
Texas,
didn't lose, Jeff. They didn't lose. They got murdered.
Well, yeah, Fish. I mean, yeah, they did.
Yeah.
Expectedly so. But Texas A&M is ranked ahead of them, and they lost to mother effing Appalachian State.
Yeah.
No.
24.
No. Texas A&M.
Not
I
Texas.
thought Texas.
No, Texas
sorry.
A&M. They're 24. Oregon's 25.
Well, I mean,
they're
had
both
18.
1-1, and Oregon has the better loss. Like, they lost to the
I know,
defending
but
champs.
But they
were
lost
so
by
high.
45.
Right, Oregon fell,
They were
I believe,
6.
from
Yeah.
15 out of the rankings.
They were unranked, yeah, so they came back.
And then it was A&M falling to 25. It doesn't piss me off.
No,
I think the one that actually surprised me, which I give the polls a lot of respect for, they moved Texas up to 21 on a week they lost, and they went into it unranked.
Yeah.
A lot of respect for Texas there. Let's see. You know what? Another one that I want to discuss, actually. Where are they? Michigan State. I think they're too high. I think Michigan State's too high.
Oh, they're 11. Okay.
Yeah, they should not be 11. I don't think they're a top 10 team in the country. I don't think they're 11 either. It's still very, very, very early for Michigan State. I have a lot of questions.
Who do you think behind
the running
them,
game?
Who do you think behind them is better?
Who I think behind them is better?
Yeah. No, I'm not saying that to come
I
at
think
you. I'm
BYU
actually
has a
curious.
better win. In the rankings wise, I don't think any of these teams. I would say Utah. I would say Tennessee. And I would consider Ole Miss. All within that group. Not better than Michigan State, but somewhere within that group. 11 because of the situations going around college football right now. I mean, so many teams lost, so many teams fell. Baylor fell, Florida fell, Utah fell. Who else? Let's see. Texas A&M fell, Pittsburgh fell. There are a lot of teams that fell off. And I don't think Sparty right now is a top 11 team in the country. But boy, the run game they have going right now, so far, very good. They're not missing Kenneth Walker one bit. Granted, they're missing the dynamic one-back bell cow explosiveness that he had, but they're making up for it.
And despite Peyton Thorne struggling a little bit, they're still completely obliterating. I mean, Western Michigan was
They killed
closer.
Akron.
It was close in the third, but after overall, I mean, they still blew
It's so
out.
early,
Right.
and that is another thing. I mean, Michigan State can change my mind. They did move up 3 spots. I would have kept them at 13, 14, but I think 11. I mean, this is why I have an issue with it. It's not just because of Michigan State.
Mm-hmm.
It's also because of where the polls were prior going into the week. I don't think they're as good as Arkansas. I don't think they're as good as Kentucky. I don't think they're as good as Oklahoma State, and they're only 3 spots away. Only 4 spots away from USC. I think there is a difference right now, but Michigan State, again, they're going to have time. They're going to get through their season. I expect them to win, obviously, this week. I'm not worried. But are they the 11th best team in the country right now? I'm not confident saying that.
But they are ranked one spot above your BYU Cougars.
And we need to go to break. When we get back, mailbag time. Get your questions in the chat. Jeff, before we go, could you tell everybody about our good friends over at Big Boy?
Yes, guys, listen. After you see Adam's chest hair, you're going to need to go and eat something because you're going to want to go to Big Boy. Big Boy has it. They have the all-new burgers and loaded fries at Big Boy. And it's not just the Slim Jim. It's the Big Jim. They got the chili cheese, and it's such a tease. They also have the bacon blue. But how about upgrading those fries as well? They have the chili cheese fries, the baked potato fries, or the nacho fries. Satisfy those taste buds at Big Boy.
You're an ugly guy, and that's okay because you've outkicked your coverage with your significant other. Well, that's good news for you. Their hotness and your notness could get you front row tickets. The Woodward Sports Network is giving you a chance to sit front row for the Detroit versus Washington football game. That's right. We're looking for the ugliest guy and the hottest girl. So fellas, come on. If you know you've outkicked your coverage, here's your chance. Post a pic of you and your superior-looking partner on Twitter or Instagram with hashtag Woodward Front Row. Follow us and tag at Woodward Sports. Hurry because we'll be selecting a winner September 16th. We can't wait to see you. Well, her. From the network that always outkicks the competition. Woodward Sports.
Life is full of hard choices. We're here to make one of life's biggest decisions as simple as possible. My name is Christina Gennari, and for over 20 years, I've helped hundreds of families buy and sell homes. We cover all of Metro Detroit and more, from large luxury homes to starter homes. We will work hard to make sure that you get the home of your dreams. So if you're in the market today or even thinking about buying or selling in the future, make the obvious choice. Christina Gennari, the obvious choice in real estate. Visit us at soldchristina.com today.
Fellas, let's be honest. We like things to be easy. We like simple stuff, like sports 7 days a week. We like things uncomplicated, like Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Sign in, sit down, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarthy on our side.
Lemieux and McCarthy, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle, baby. Talking to one another.
Woodward Sports.
All right, we're back here on the Morning Woodward Show. Mailbag time. Get your questions in the chat. Jeff, what do you got?
All right, first question comes from Bo. Mailbag. Adam, would you have felt better about the Lions' onside kick if it was before halftime?
No. No.
I don't know why I expected anything different.
No. Look, onside kicks, it doesn't make sense for me. I'm sorry. You have a head coach. You have a coaching staff that go into the second half, supposedly have made their halftime adjustments, and Philly walks down and scores. On top of that, you call a timeout, and then you get burned for 40 yards. The onside kick, the problem isn't that they failed. It's when they did it. And again, the argument, well, you want to catch them by surprise? Guys, look who your head coach is. They are notorious for bringing out all the bells and whistles, the fake punts and throws, the onside kicks, the jet sweep, the end arounds, the wide receiver throws, all of it. Right. You think the Eagles weren't prepared in the first game of the year when they were up 2 scores?
They were definitely prepared.
Guys, again, enjoy. Adam, did you have to shave MSU into your chest here? No, I have FBYU on my chest right now, but I'm not going to do it today. I'm going to do it tomorrow. I'm sorry. I want to make a whole bit of it. I don't want to sit here and
We're not letting you forget, like, the trophy.
Yeah, don't worry, Fish. I won't. Adam, who has you more on your knees, Justin Jefferson or Kevin O'Connell? I don't know, man. That's a tough one.
Did you see the second part of this
question? You got to ask
question?
me to get on my knees for either of them. I mean, I'm going to do it. Which one? I don't know.
Did you see the second part of Jesse's question? He goes, just curious. Second question, want to bet on BYU at Oregon? Hell, I'd even take Oregon. Don't drag him down this hole, people.
Jesse,
Don't do it.
Jesse,
he won't do it.
Don't do it.
Jesse, I will make you a deal.
No.
Let me make a decision by Friday, okay? Let me think about this one. I'm always down, though. I'm always down to have some fun. Adam, I'm just asking, did you not say last year that you would like DC to be aggressive and stick? Yes, I did. No, and I said it going into the year. Kicking an onside kick and calling a timeout before half is not being aggressive.
You meant like fourth and...
Guys, being aggressive, we were talking about going for on fourth downs. I don't mind that. They scored a touchdown on one. Phenomenal, but they were down multiple scores. But whatever. I'm game for it. But don't shoot yourself in the foot. There's a big difference. Going for on 4th and 1 at your own 18 is not ideal. That's not aggressive. That's just really playing a game of chance. And on top of it, kicking the onside kick, hell, even prior to it, you could have gone in at half only down 1 score and made your halftime adjustments. Like he said, it wasn't their best football in the first half. You walk in, hey guys, that was not our best half of football. Really bad quarter there. Make your halftime adjustments. Understand you're over pursuing the quarterback. Get your containment in line. They didn't do any of it, by the way. And they come out, they get scored on. They waste a timeout early. They scored, the offense is gelling, and then they kick an onside kick. That's not being aggressive to me. That is having zero situational awareness. You got to give yourself a chance. The excuse of, well, if we kicked it off and the defense had shown that they haven't been able to stop them, and they go 6, 7, 8 minutes, they burn the clock. Well, yeah, they burn the clock, but you're only down 2 scores, bud. You're only down 2 scores. Your theory would have only worked with the onside kick. Hindsight. Had you allowed a field goal, but no, you gave up 7. You changed the landscape of the game. It just did. Jeff, what other questions do we have in the chat?
This is an interesting one. Wyatt asked, Mailbag, trade, sign, or release Hawk? Wow. After game 1, I mean, that's probably a tough one to answer. I need more games for that answer, to be honest with you. I got to see, because I think, TJ, there's a lot more he still has left to prove. I'm not going to say trade him or, whatever it is. I still think ultimately they should sign him, but we'll see. If he struggles this season, he can't stay healthy, then I'll have my opinion changed. Like Sam always says, with new information, I have the ability to change my mind. So,
you
do? We'll see. Mailbag, who hates the Lions more, Adam or Mike Valeni? That's the thing you guys got to understand, too. Like, Adam doesn't hate the Lions. He's very hard on them because he expects good things out of them. But this is why I'm here. I'm here to disagree.
Them to win.
I'm here to disagree with him. I expect good things, but at the same time, when you got to push back, you got to push back. So it makes the show so great. What else do we got in here? Is there anything about the Commanders' offense that sticks out and could scare and make a difference like Jalen Hurts this past week to the Lions' defense? One thing I'm going to be curious about is you see how well Miles Sanders played. We're going in and facing Gibson.
Yeah.
And listen, I have Gibson on my fantasy team, so I'm trying to separate the two because you want Gibson to play well because they have him on fantasy, but also you want this Lions defense to be able to stop the run because that's what Dan Campbell wants his team to do is win in the trenches, stop the run, get after the quarterback, run the football as on offense. It's the same thing. So we'll see. I think Gibson's going to be a sleeper this week. You got to watch out for him. He not even just rushing the football, but on the receiving end of things, made some plays. We'll see, though. Another one. Who do we got? Mailbag. Everybody true, false? Michigan fans will bash MSU if they win versus Washington, saying it wasn't a good team like MSU fans did last year at Michigan, even though this Washington team is a team tad better.
Yes.
Fish.
Yes.
Fish. I'm leaning your direction.
Even if Michigan State beats them by 20.
Mailbag. Will you ever be going back to Lafayette County? What about you, Fish?
They said that on the 11 to 1 show, Big D Energy. They said, would you ever be going back? I mean...
Would you go back? Have you been there, right?
Yeah.
Would you go back after the Rats? Okay. Well, yeah, you got to think, though, all this stuff will be,
Every restaurant does shady things. Like, we're being honest here. Every restaurant does shady things. We just either, A, they don't come out because they're very secretive. Like, the FDA probably knows about it, too.
Yeah. No,
it's called cover-ups. They happen everywhere.
It's nasty. And Garrett makes a great point. By the way, Garrett, you're absolutely right. If you're going to talk about how good Sanders was, you got to talk about that Philly's O-line. Absolutely. I said it. I think Philly has the best offensive line in football, so I'm right with you, my man.
You didn't give your answer. Would you go back?
Yeah. Yeah, I would. Okay. I would probably give it some time, but Fish, I'm right with you. I'd probably ultimately go back. They cleaned it. All right. Hopefully no rats are in there. Mailbag, should the Lions be concerned about Geno Smith and the Seahawks now? I honestly, listen, the Seahawks, to me, I thought they played a great game, but that was their Super Bowl in a way, if you look at it like this. It was very emotional. You're in Seattle. You're facing your former quarterback and Russell Wilson. I think that's probably the best game Seattle's going to play all year, in my opinion. We'll see. Geno Smith had a damn good game. We'll see if he can replicate that. Steve Dare, shout out to my girlfriend's dad. Steve, thank you, Jeff, for helping me pick out my fantasy team. I took first place in the league. I'm telling you guys, listen. I'm not trying to brag, but know some things about fantasy, all right? I'm 2-0. I won at the Woodward Sports League, won in my friend's league, helping my guy out. So I want to say thank you guys for tuning in, showing love, all 500 of you. Before you leave, drop a like, subscribe if you haven't already. I appreciate every single one of you, whether you like us, you hate us, whatever it is. Thank you for tuning in. Until tomorrow, from me, from Fish, Adam, and Alex, we'll see you tomorrow.
Go watch football. It's going to be a great night.
Live.